All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So today we have an echo of a workout that we did a couple of weeks ago as a bare muscle battle format. But today we are doing 4 rounds per time of 15 calories on the bike, 15 box jump overs, and 15 kettlebell swings. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have a bike. Jumping kind of scares me. This weight seems kind of heavy. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it. Right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back. Arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Love yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Committed Club Academy. Let's move on to the wrist wave. And what do we do in the academy? We dig deep and find out why. Why are we doing this? What is our motivation? Why do we need to drink water? Why do we need to get sleep? Why do we need to plan our meals? What type of meals should we be eating? And then, of course, why flexi time and why the WODs? And let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, or if it works better, we can do some high elbows like this. And when we understand the why, then we will figure out the what and the how in order to really be consistent. And that's when we get true, unshakable resolve and discipline to reach our goals and get results. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. And so the Academy has helped hundreds of our Fit Crew family all over the world to really dig deep and understand the science behind all these habits that we're going after. And that in turn has produced awesome results. On top of the fact that we do this in an awesome team format. And we get to participate with our teams. We get to do some team projects to really dig deep and understand everything even more. Let's move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if you want low impact. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me for details on how to be added to the next semester. Let's go ahead and take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move we're going to do today is glute bridges. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 glute bridges for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the glute bridges are going to be reverse chest flies like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 glute bridges together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying on our back. We are pulling the feet in super close to those hips, and we are squeezing the glutes. And we're going to think fast up, hold the top, slow on the way back down. And so good job here on these glute bridges. Next, we're going to roll over and get the calves warmed up. Let's go ahead and have Rev demonstrate 2 reps of the dynamic calf stretch for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do some dynamic elbows like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dynamic calf stretch together. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we could choose to do this off of an inclined surface, just like we see Betty Boop doing over here. And perhaps we can turn the camera a little so we can see more of the angle. But this could be off of a counter, it could be off a wall, it could be off a sofa, whatever is needed. But we're going to get into a nice incline pike position, bend that one knee, and pull the back heel into the ground. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, then we are piking those hips up, pulling that back heel into the ground, and we want to hold that for about 2 seconds before switching sides. Super important, especially because of all the jumping we're going to be doing today. So good job on this dynamic calf stretch. Next, we're going to do some stepping mountain climbers. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the stepping mountain climber for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, we're actually going to do some alternating forward arm raises like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the stepping mountain climber. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're going to take a big step forward, slightly to the side, getting the feet outside the hands at the front, keeping those hips down to keep a nice plank position. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we could do some incline knees to elbow, just like we see Betty Boop doing here. We have those hands on a counter or even off the wall, and we are raising the knee to the elbow. But good job here on these mountain climbers. Next, what I'd like everyone to do is let's go ahead and grab a light kettlebell. If you have one, by light, I mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a light kettlebell, then any other light common household item will do, preferably something with a handle today. So it could be an empty purse, it could be an empty water jug, an empty orange juice jug, an empty laundry detergent jug. If we don't have anything like that, then sure, it could be like a light dumbbell or anything along those lines. But gotta be light. We always go light before we go heavy, if at all. So with this light kettlebell in hand, we're going to do some sumo deadlifts. And let's go ahead and have Red demonstrate 2 reps of the kettlebell sumo deadlift for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then these sumo deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of these deadlifts together. So a couple things to keep in mind. The deadlift is going to start with the object on the ground in between the feet. We're going to have those hips super low, but the chest is up, shoulders back. We're looking straight ahead in order to keep the back in alignment. And we're going to take a deep breath in, bracing that core, driving the ground away until we get all the way up to a fully standing position with the shoulders back at the top. And then we want to brace that core on the way back down as well. And so good job here on these deadlifts. Next, we're going to do some Russian swings. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 3 Russian swings for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those Russian swings are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the Russian swing together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're gonna have a nice firm grip on that kettlebell, and we're gonna get that object back between the legs. And we're gonna squeeze those glutes until we get all the way up to a fully standing, locked out position. And we want to take a nice deep breath before each rep, bracing that forward. And we want to keep that kettlebell close to the body. That's a much more efficient way to swing. Notice the T-Rex arms there. And so that is the more efficient way to keep the kettlebell on these kettlebell swings. And so we want to think back, then up, getting that kettlebell back, squeezing the glutes with the power of the hips, getting that up to face level. And so good job on these Russian swings. And finally, we're going to do some step overs. What I'd like you to do is to get a nice sturdy surface that you feel comfortable stepping up onto, that's not going to move once we step up onto it, and that is also a good comfortable height for us to do these step overs. So it could be a plyo box like this. It could be a sturdy chair that is secured. It could be a stool. It could be a step ladder, or it could even be stairs if that's the most practical solution for us. So with this in mind, we're going to do some step overs now, and the step overs are going to look like this. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those step overs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 step overs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We want a nice sturdy surface, and we want to get both feet up, both feet down on the other side if possible. It could be that the solution that we have doesn't allow us to step down on the opposite side. So we could do, for instance, what twin one is doing here. She's stepping down to the side of the chair. Or if we're doing stairs or something along those lines, we could just do step ups, stepping back down in the same direction if that's what we have to do. But good job here on these step overs. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. The first move is the bike. And specifically, we're talking about an air bike. So if you happen to have something like a Rogue Echo bike or an Assault air bike, or honestly any exercise bike, what I'd like you to do right now is to hop on that bike, and we're going to do a 1-minute test and just see how many calories you can get in that minute. But many of us don't have these machines. We're the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the bike that preserves the stimulus of that cardio that we're looking for, getting that heart rate up. We're going to do some jump rope today. So if you happen to have a jump rope, let's go ahead and grab that. If we don't have a jump rope, that's fine. We can actually do some jumping jacks or jumping thigh slaps, which we'll demonstrate here in a minute. So with the jump rope in hand, first let's see some singles, and let's see Reb demonstrate a couple singles for us. Now, if you feel comfortable with your rope and you've been doing this for a while and you'd like to do some double unders, let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate what a couple of double unders would look like. So that's where we jump and spin that rope fast. It goes underneath the feet twice while we're in the air. Now, if we happen not to have a rope, then we can do some jumping jacks or stepping jacks. Let's have Benny Boop demonstrate a couple of stepping jacks here, where we're going to step to the side, flat overhead. Or another body weight option would be jumping thigh slaps. Let's have twin one demonstrate here. That's where we jump in the air and we slap those thighs, either a single thigh slap or a double thigh slap, which incidentally is also a good drill to help us to work on our double under rhythm, whether we have a rope or not. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the jumping jacks are going to look like this. Or we can do a double clap at the top, like this. So if you haven't done so yet, let's all join in here. Let's do 10 to 20 singles, followed by 10 attempts at double unders. So if we've been doing some singles for a while and we're pretty good at connecting at least sets of 20 to 30 singles in a row, then we're ready to start trying for some double unders. And the three most important things in double unders, 21 knows, is stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. So sometimes we may hit that rope, but we just step through and keep going. And when we stay calm, we get to where we need to be. But we are getting some practice in with this jump rope, doing some singles or doubles or whatever is good for us. And if we don't have a rope, then we're doing whatever version of the body weight movement is good for us. So good job here on these jump rope or jumping jacks or whatever we're doing. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is box jump overs. So that box jump over is going to look like this. So a couple key things there. If we don't feel comfortable jumping, we don't have to jump. We can do those step overs instead, if that's better for us. But what I'd like us to consider is, could it be that maybe we have a sturdy, low object, such as a weight plate or something along those lines that we can jump up to? So for instance, Betty Boop has been working on this, and she's got a little plate that she feels comfortable jumping up onto and stepping down on the other side, and she's feeling pretty good about it. But once again, like we said, if that's super high impact and we'd rather just do those steps, then that's completely fine as well. But most importantly, we need to feel confident in the object that we are using to either jump or step. Safety first, safety always. If we're doing this from the seated position, then I'd like you to grab a light dumbbell and those jump overs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 practice reps of jump overs or step overs, if that's better for us. So a couple things to keep in mind. It could be that, you know what, hey, I have an object that I don't mind jumping over and clearing, just like we see Rev doing here. And especially if we're doing it this way, we want to really make sure that we are landing in a good way, absorbing that shock. So we're jumping hard with confidence, but then we are landing in a quarter squat, absorbing that shock. We've got twin one with a chair that's secured against the wall, super safe, and she's jumping into the direction of safety, but stepping down to the side. And we've got Kid Flash just flying through the air like he does. So we've got lots of different options here, guys, on these jump overs or step overs, if that's what we choose to do. And the third move that we're doing in today's workout is kettlebell swings. So let's go ahead and grab that light kettlebell or whatever object that we were just using in the warm-up. And so to demonstrate the kettlebell swing, let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 3 reps of the kettlebell swing for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then these kettlebell swings are going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the kettlebell swing together. So a couple things to keep in mind, just like the Russian swing that we were doing before, we are getting that kettlebell back between the legs and using the power of the hips to pop that up and punch it back. And notice that little lead up swing that swing one did before going into the full swing. That's a good practical way to get some momentum, a little quarter pop before throwing it back and then popping it all the way up. And notice how we're keeping it close to the body. On the way up, we're still pulling it in, keeping it close. And while it's the hips and legs that power it up, the arms are in place to pull it into the body and then punch it back at the top of the motion. So good job here on these kettlebell swings. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to that kettlebell to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 5 to 10 practice swings at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for our division. We've got plenty of time here to do a couple in between sets. No need to go straight to a super heavy weight. But if we've not been earning badges or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. Seriously, it's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. That's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. Today, we want to sprint through this as fast as possible. We want to stay focused. We want to stay motivated. My music may not motivate you the way your music does. So, what's on your playlist? You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 4-round workout. We've got 15 of each movement, but it's still easy to lose track of which round we're on, what we're doing, what my name is, right? So let's have some type of system in place to help us to keep track of all that. One of the best ways to do that is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Mighty Mouse, first did a screen today with the Teacher's Pet Award. We got a whole lot of teacher's pets around here. Let's go ahead and take the teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time here, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer. And we're about to do this 4-round workout. We're going to be doing 4 rounds, 15 calories on the bike, 15 box jump overs, and 15 kettlebell swings. Now, if we have an exercise bike, then whatever amount of calories we just got in that 1 minute test, if it was less than 15, let's just use that number instead of 15. We're looking for that bike to take us no more than a minute about, even as we get tired. And with the box jump overs, let's really make sure that we are using a sturdy object that's not going to move and that we feel comfortable with the height of it. And let's remember, we can decide to either jump or step, whatever is better for us. And on these kettlebell swings, we are not adding weights unless we've been earning badges. Let's just keep it a super lightweight for today. Now, most of us don't have an exercise bike at home, so instead of 15 calories on the bike, we'll be doing 30 double unders. Or if the double unders aren't working for us yet, then let's just do 30 singles. And we can throw some double unders in there, once every 5 or every 10, or at least try to get a double under. But let's just do either the doubles, if we can, or singles, trying to get some doubles every so often. And if we don't have a jump rope, we can do 30 jumping jacks. And that's going to be a good modification for us. Of course, we can also choose to do the jumping thigh slaps or the stepping jacks, 30 of those, if that's better for us, in place of the 15 calories on the bike. So your score today is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 4 rounds of 30 double unders or singles or jumping jacks, 15 box jump overs or step overs, and 15 kettlebell swings. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here. I'm going to get the timer going, and then I'm going to highlight swing 1 to get us going. So here we go, guys. 30 double unders or singles or jumping jacks. 15 box jump overs or step overs. 15 kettlebell swings. 4 rounds. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these doubles. And so we are staying calm, flicking that rope, doing what we can. And if we're Mighty Mouse, we're getting up out of our seat. And we've been getting Mighty Mouse up, doing what she can. It's so awesome to see the progress. So she's doing some stepping jacks. We got Betty Boop on these stepping jacks. And we got Reb on these step overs. So Reb is choosing to do some step overs for today. We've got swing 1. About to hit some jumps here. Boom. Jumping into the direction of security. And we got Flash flying through the air. Jumping, landing. And we got Betty Boop jumping on this plate. So a nice manageable height there. And remember, we present a lot of different options. It could be that, hey, we start with jumps and we decide we need to switch to steps. Let's listen to our body and do what is good for us. We got Mighty Mouse on the seated variation of these jump overs. We got Reb now on these swings. Now, Reb is choosing to swing a dumbbell. And notice how she's gripping that dumbbell. That is the most secure way to hold the handle if we choose to swing a dumbbell. That dual overhand grip over the handle like that. And the dumbbell facing that direction is the most practical way if that's what we choose to do. But we got Mighty Mouse on these swings. We got Swing 1 on these swings. Keeping it close, using the hips, using the legs to pop that up, punch that back. So awesome work here, guys. And just like that, Reb done with round 1. Gonna be moving on to round 2. Swing 1 as well. finishing off round one. Mighty Mouse already on round two, and then Flash finishing off this round. Betty Boop as well, finishing off this round. So love to see everyone picking options that are appropriate for them, challenging ourselves the right way, but still allowing us to get through this. And just like Twin One, we want to see some singles with some double unders. And the goal with double unders, if we're not quite connecting, fives, tens, or more in a row yet, then let's get that dub with the goal of doing some singles in between. The first goal is continuity with the rope. So we hit that dub and we keep that rope going. As we're able to do that consistently, then we can add in more double unders in a row. But we got Mighty Mouse finishing off some jump overs in the second round, and now moving on to the swings in this second round. So good work here, Mighty Mouse, flying through these rounds, and she knows what I'm about to say. We need to up this challenge. We've been having to do the 10 stepping jacks. I think we need to up that to 15 for these last couple rounds. But we got Red hitting these swings with that beefy dumbbell. And we've got Swing One as well. Getting that bell back, using the power of the hips and the legs. Betty Boop on these swings, and Kid Flash finishing off some jumps. About to move on to some swings. Mighty Mouse into this next round here. Doing the 15 stepping jacks like we talked about. And we got Betty Boop on some swings, finishing off that round. Kid Flash finishing off that round. And Twin One connecting a bunch of dubs in a row, staying calm, stepping through, flick of the wrist. That's another tip on double unders. It's the wrist that goes fast. Everything else, we're staying calm and relaxed, keeping those shoulders back, keeping the chest nice and upright. But it's that hard wrist flick that helps us to connect and get a bunch of dubs in a row. But nice work here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Getting through this third round of jumps. Jumping into the direction of safety over here. But nice work, everyone. Staying consistent, staying motivated. Nice work here, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Getting into the swings to finish off the third round. And so many of us getting into the fourth round, and we know what to do as we approach that finish line. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. That's what we do. So let's stay focused. Let's dig deep here. Let's stay motivated. Finishing off round 3, getting into this round 4, staying confident and calm on these dubs. Mighty Mouse finishing off the stepping jacks in this last round, moving on to these jump overs. Rev on this last round. Betty Boop getting into this last round. But nice work here, guys. Let's get to it. Let's get through it. Staying focused every single jump. As we get toward the end, it's easy to lose focus, but especially on these jumps. Super important to stay focused. Raising those knees every single time. Doing what we gotta do to stay focused. And it looks like we got Mighty Mouse on this last set of swings here, making her way toward the finish line. So let's get through it, let's get through it. Grab on this last round. Betty Boop on this last round of jumps. And we got Twin 1 picking up this kettlebell for the last time. And Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Great work there, Mighty Mouse. Rev as well on this dumbbell. Let's stay motivated. Let's push. Getting through these swings. Nice work here, guys. Here we go. And there goes Twin 1. And Rev. Betty Boop, almost there. Kid Flash, almost there. Great work, guys. Let's breathe, let's push, let's keep moving, let's keep moving. And there goes Betty Boop across the finish line. Couple more swings for Flash. And there goes Flash across the finish line. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that was awesome. And now you have earned yourself a cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch that we're going to do today is the saddle eagle stretch. And that's going to be where we sit back on those heels and we get the one elbow on top of the other like this. If we can't quite reach the heels, if this is all we got, hey, that's cool. But if we can sit back all the way toward those heels, great. And while we're here, let's hear some high-low buffalo. So let's hear first from Twin 1. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're just doing the eagle part of the stretch like this with the elbows. But what is your high-low buffalo Twin 1?
My high were the kettlebell swings, the low were the dubs, and the buffalo was the jumps, the box jump overs. I sometimes struggle mentally with those things. Today I was struggling just a little bit, but I pushed myself through, so I was happy that I pushed through.
We're happy you pushed through as well. Agreed. Those jumps, we need to have full focus, and sometimes we need to make sure that we're really in the game mentally, but that you were, a great performance. Let's go ahead and switch to the other elbow here for this saddle eagle. And let's hear from Betty Boop, high-low buffalo. And if we're doing this from a seated position, We are just switching the elbows like this. So what is your high-low buffalo, Betty Boop?
Oh boy, my high were the kettlebells. I didn't have a low, but my buffalo was, man, I got so out of breath. That surprised me. But anyway, it was good. I hung in there. So it was a good workout.
And you did great with it. And I'm super happy that you challenged yourself to jump on that plate like you've been doing. It's a nice manageable height, and you're listening to your body, of course, making adjustments as needed, but stay in the course. Let's go ahead and move on to the pigeon here. We're going to get one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this, opening up the hips. Now, at the start of this episode, we had mentioned about the Academy, and the Academy has helped so many of our Fit Crew family to stay on track. Let's hear from Reb. How has the Academy helped you to stay on track? And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get one elbow up and pull to the side like this.
Yeah, the Academy has helped me because there's so much advice out there. It can be confusing, like what do I do to be healthy? But the Academy just breaks it down really simple and helps me to know, okay, this is what I have to do right now. This is a simple way to be healthy. And so I appreciate everything that I've learned.
And you are a great example of that, putting that into practice, keeping it simple, but keeping it consistent. And let's go ahead and switch to pigeon on the other side now. So we got the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back, sinking into this like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get the other elbow up. But how has the Academy helped you to stay on track?
The Academy has helped me to stay on track by the reminders we get every time we go. Every time I go to the Academy, I learn something different, something new. And it also helped me to work on the areas that I'm struggling in. To see when we get in groups and see how others may be doing maybe like water, how they do their water intake. So it very inspires me and encourages me to do better when we get together like that.
Appreciate that confession. And yes, that shows the importance of continual attendance at the Academy, because there's always something that we can get better at. So that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left. This sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, Fit Crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit Crew.
Fit Crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.